It's the midst of summer here in Germany. Until now it's been very hot with barely any rain. To be honest, I prefer the cooler seasons, even though they all have their charms. Autumn is probably my most favorite one, with its foggy days and beautiful colors. Summertime is always full of life. There are so many things to see and so many reasons to go outside. No matter where you look, the beauty of nature is at its fullest. As you probably know from my other videos, being in nature is an important aspect of my life and one of the main reasons I started this YouTube channel. As a modern society, we are progressively losing our connection to nature, myself included. Everyday life keeps us busy, and it's becoming increasingly rare to find enough time to enjoy the outside world. Even if you finally find the time to go outside, there are plenty of other reasons that might keep you from doing so. It's too warm or too cold, there are too many bugs, you're too lazy or just not in the mood for it. There are times where it's easier for me to go outside, and times where I struggle to do so. One of these times is the change from winter to spring. In my opinion, it's a very weird time of the year. It's still too cold to wear lighter clothes. It almost feels like the end of autumn, but everything is more muddy. There are no bright colors and only a few animals to see. I'm going to use the example of nature to describe a universal topic, specifically how to recognize the hidden wonders and appreciate the inconspicuous. I know a lot of topics on my channel are overlapping and are repeated, but I'm sure the more you engage with a particular issue, the more it becomes rooted in your mind. Between late February and early March, it still snowed a few times. Nature was still resting. Watching the outside world while being curled up and cozy in your warm home felt quite comforting. Maybe a bit too comforting. I tended to find excuses not to leave my home and thought to myself, there's not much to see outside anyways, so better stay inside. At the same time, I get this feeling of missing out on something. It's like a lot of things in life. Sometimes you gotta overcome your inner barriers and take the uncomfortable route to experience something new. We humans tend to save as much energy as possible. Your mind is constantly weighing whether it's worth investing energy in something and what the outcome will be. It often deceives you and makes you believe that this is not the case. The funny and at the same time sad thing about this is that it applies above all to leisure activities. Activities that come with an obligation simply have to be done to ensure our survival. Unfortunately, our brain often doesn't consider anything beyond that to be important enough. And that's the point where you should listen to that little inner voice that tells you what might be good for you. So despite my brain telling me not to, I decided to go for a walk. At first glance, the landscape looks very bleak and colorless at this time of the year. The trees don't have any new leaves yet. The meadows are covered with only short grass and no flowers, and the sky is mostly cloudy. But as soon as you take a closer look, you will notice some hidden details. Although the deciduous trees have no leaves right now, they create these beautiful brown and green patterns when combined with the conifers. I love watching the reflections of the forest inside the puddles, or a single leaf swaying in the gentlest breeze. Whenever you look for the hidden beauty, you have to be patient and take your time. These details don't reveal themselves if you rush past them. You gotta be curious and willing to make the effort to explore. Only then you will recognize the inconspicuous. As I mentioned earlier, I will illustrate this point using nature as an example. However, this can also be applied to every other area of life, like relationships. Your partner who asks how your day has been and gives you their undivided attention. Your friend who remembers something you mentioned years ago. Your parents that always wave goodbye after you visited them. Your coworker that leaves you a snack on the table when you have a bad day. These small gestures of recognition and appreciation can often get lost in the hectic pace of everyday life. But exactly these acts are part of the inconspicuous, and it's up to us to be able to see and value them. You always have to remind yourself to be aware of the hidden beauty. It's not like, once you think about it, it will remain this way. The mind tends to forget and put aside what it learned. It needs a constant refreshment and is in a perpetual state of learning. As I was walking through the forest, I suddenly realized again how important it was to overcome my inner barriers. I was able to see all these tiny details. I connected to nature with my different senses. I avoided rushing and took the time to let nature captivate me. Sometimes I stop for a second and breathe. I often wonder, how long have these trees stood here? How much longer will they remain? How will this forest look in a few years or decades? Will I still be living here by then? Everything is so temporary. Every decision is changing the course of life. Everyday thoughts like these get more meaning. You're getting older, and the distance between you and your childhood is growing larger. Everything takes on a different perspective. You change a lot from the person you used to be. Maybe you're even a completely different person now. As a child, the world consisted of these little wonders and hidden details. Every day was a new one, filled with new experiences and an open future. It almost felt like you see the world through a filter. You experienced everything much more intensely. You were able to get excited about so many things so easily. These days, when we are grown up and in life's full grip, our thoughts and actions are often weighted down by a sense of heaviness. Everything has to be carefully considered in advance, because we are aware of the consequences. That carefree spirit of the past isn't so easy to access anymore. And that's exactly the reason we have to try to preserve that curiosity. The reason we have to remind ourselves that this world is still filled with all these little wonders. By the end of my walk, my hands and feet felt like ice cubes. I think it took me about an hour to start feeling warm again. I wrapped myself back up in my blanket with a cup of hot tea, but felt so much more content than before. No matter how dull your life may seem at times, if you look closely, there are always hidden treasures. We have to constantly remind ourselves of this, because our minds tend to forget and repress things. Sometimes we need to listen to the tiny inner voice that tells us what might be good for us.